Well, hi, everybody. This is DearMamaSal, and we are live on a Friday evening. And today we are going to be talking about coping with life. As some of you know, I recently, a week ago, had my house catch fire. And I've just realized I don't have any lipstick on, so bear with me. And anyway, so my house caught on fire, and I am learning to live without my house, my possessions, my clothes. And I can tell you it's quite an interesting journey. Hi there, Sharon. And so what I wanted to do is let you know that one of the ways in which I am coping is to really program smiling more in my life and being so grateful for everything. Hi, Ezra, good to see you. And to really be grateful for everything that I do have rather than lament about what I've lost. So, hi, Jody. And I must say that between the two broadcasts, I did a number of things. I did this broadcast at lunchtime today. And I then decided I was going to make myself something to eat. And then I decided after I had whatever it was I had, I can't remember, I suddenly thought it's time to make crepes. And I did in my kitchen, little kitchenette here. And I made some beautiful crepes, and I thoroughly enjoyed them with lemon and a little bit of sugar. So following that, I lay down, and that was my big mistake because I woke up about 5 minutes ago. Maybe it wasn't my big mistake. Maybe it was the best thing I could do for myself. So Anyway, what we're going to be talking about this evening is how important it is to smile and to find reasons to smile, even if you don't think you have one. And I think it was Mother Teresa who said, peace begins. Peace begins with a smile. Peace begins with a smile. So if you want to be at peace with yourself, please remember to smile more. The world doesn't need more angry, hurting people, right? What the world needs more than anything, I believe, is kind, loving, smiling, caring people. And I would wish that on everybody. And talking about that, I cannot let another broadcast go by without just, again, mentioning how sorry I am to hear about the president and his wife being tested positive for COVID. And I really am disgusted at some of the comments that I'm reading on social media. We wouldn't wish this on anybody. And I really have to say that, regardless of your politics, please don't let don't lower yourself to this sort of level of wishing ill on somebody who is obviously very, very ill. They didn't take him to Walter Reed because he's doing well, people. There's no way that they've pumped him full of some experimental drug because he's doing well. And so therefore, I would say, let us, just remember that give him the same care and respect that you would want people to give you would be my challenge to you, regardless of your politics. I was glad to hear, and I hope that is correct, that Biden has pulled all negative ads about the president, and I think that's really, really important. Let's just do what we can to wish him and his family well at this very difficult time. Now, I know some of you who are suffering from pre-existing conditions and things like that, saying, well, he doesn't pay me much respect. Why should I? Don't go there. Don't go there. All right, so Sharon said, I was raised that whether you agree with the president or not, you should respect him. Yes, he is still the president. That's true. A simple smile. That's the start of opening your heart and being compassionate to others. A simple smile. And if you don't believe that that works, then you are not living your life. I am amazed. I'm a pretty big smiler, as you know. It's what I do, and I'm amazed. I can be walking anywhere, and I will, pass people, and because I automatically smile at people, I am stunned how many people give me this beaming smile back again, and I'll just nod and thank them. So I think a smile is contagious. What do you think? And it was said that because of your smile, you make life more beautiful. Isn't that beautiful in itself? Because of your smile, you make life more beautiful. And I want you to say that to people, all right, that you see smiling. If somebody bothers to smile at you, then make sure you tell them, because of your smile, my day is that much better. And life is that much more beautiful. I'm a great believer, I've said it time and time again, that reward good behavior. Reward good behavior. And so I look at it now and I go, I've got so many reasons to smile. Oh, I've got 1,001 reasons to be angry or upset or miserable or whatever. But I've got so many wonderful reasons to smile. And for example, I was so grateful that the hotel very kindly, put in that high-speed internet package for me with minutes to go to the broadcast. I mean, how could I not thank them for that? And I did. The moment that I came off the broadcast, I literally wrote and said thank you for the internet so that I could talk to the viewers. And I know that before, when they said that it was done and I just needed to do the broadcast, I said, I thank you, but more importantly, I am sure that my viewers would want to thank you. And so, hi, Rinsky, good to see you. How about this one? If you are hearing this, congratulations, you're alive. If that isn't something to smile about, then I don't know what is. I've repeated the story about my fire many times to my friends, and they're all saying, "How are you doing? How are you doing?" What can you say except I'm glad to be alive? It could have gone so many other ways, and I could have ended up not surviving it. Yes, isn't that true? Sharon saying, I've posted this several times on Facebook. A smile is a girl's best makeup. Yeah. And how about this one? Leonardo da Vinci said, I love those who can smile in trouble. It's easy to smile when things are going well. But how many of you know that the real gift of life is when you can smile when things are going wrong? And, as I was saying at lunchtime, how surprised I was at my doctor's reaction to my blood sugar glucose, my blood glucose test, and also to what happened in the fire. And, he was just so incredibly zen about it. And he said, no, I'm not surprised that your blood pressure was low. You're a very calm person. And I just went, I don't know about you, but I've never heard my doctor say that about me. The train. All right, everybody, watch me move. Here we go. Can you see the computer moving? For those of you who don't know, I'm in a hotel that a train goes by. And when it goes by, the earth moves. The whole of this building actually moves. Did you see? It's still shaking here. I don't know if you can see it. Oh, let me know if you can see it. Yeah, it's still shaking. It's a big train. It's still shaking. Yes, you see, Sharon, the first time it happened, I can assure you, I thought I was in LA, but it's still shaking. But you sort of get pretty blasé about it after a while. It's still shaking. It's a big train. So what I want to explain to you is that I've been in LA during an earthquake, and normally that lasts for a fairly short time. This lasts for minutes, and this train doesn't come through once a day. This train comes through quite regularly. But yes, it's up to me, and Sharon's saying it would rock her to sleep. I want to tell you that I've slept through the train and the whistle and everything quite happily. And again, I have to tell you something that this mattress that I'm on here, I am amazed how well I am sleeping. And, I'm getting 6 hours of good sleep every night. So it's been really good. A warm smile is the universal language of kindness. It's still shaking, people. And how many of you can feel that, all right? Did I figure out what kind of mattress? No, I haven't found out, but I'm going to ask which mattress they've got here, because one of the things I know for sure is that my comforter and mattress were pretty well soaked. And if I understood it correctly, they've had that room sealed up. So now not only were they soaked, they're probably moldy by now, because no air, well, the air conditioning that was in the roof, the hole in the roof, they covered up. I did say that as well. I think I forgot to mention that when the farm people were talking to me, I said, I did actually think I should get air conditioning. It wasn't quite the way I expected to get it, but how about this one? A smile is what happens, and what happiness you will find right under your nose. All right, it's up to us to decide, do I want to smile today? Do I want to see the good in life today? And I'm thinking I'm smiling at the moment because you can't see the devastation that is behind me right now. Because I fell asleep and I hadn't tidied up in the kitchen area. Now you all want to see how much of a mess it is, don't you? Right? I know you guys. I know you guys. But I just literally had to put everything into the sink. And again, one of the things you have to smile about is when you've only got a very small sink, you're inclined to keep the washing. You see, I know you guys pretty well. Hang on a second, let me see how I did. I did a very quick, that's not too bad, right? You can't see it. It's in there. In there. Yeah, Kimmy's saying I got air conditioning in my roof at the wrong time of the year. Yep. But I've smiled a lot in the last week. It stopped shaking now. I've smiled a lot in the last week. I have to say that I really have. And I have been looking for reasons to smile. I have been looking for reasons to be thankful and grateful and happy. How about you? How about this one? A smile doesn't always stand for a perfect life. Right? And I've heard so many people say to me, well, when I get then I'll be happy. Well, I can remember when I was on tour a lot and speaking. And, a lot of people found out that I donated a lot of my speaking time. And I can remember time and time again, people would say to me, well, when I am famous as you are, then I'll donate time as well. And I always used to say to them, really, it's interesting. I've always donated time way before I became, and I was famous at that time, way before I became famous. I like to think it goes the other way around. I like to think that the reason I became famous is because I donated a lot of time to people less fortunate than myself. And, does it make any of you smile that people get that so wrong, that they don't see that? Their life's got to be perfect before they can do the right things. And it's not true. If you're going to be a giver, give during the bad times as well as the good. A gentle word, a kind look, a good-natured smile can work wonders and accomplish miracles. Can any of you got an example of where you were feeling really down and somebody changed your whole being just by smiling? But I wonder as well if any of you have ever been in a bad way and somebody smiled at you and you resented them for it. Yes, Jodi's saying it makes me sad for them because waiting for perfection before you start to live, you'll never live. Yeah, well, you would know that, Jodi. You would know that because when I first met you, right? You thought your life had to be perfect and you needed to be healthy to be living again. And look at all the living you've done regardless. I'm so proud of you. Kimmy said she went out and got some food from the case lot sale. Well done. Did that give you reason to smile? And you see, that's the whole thing. If you go shopping and, you get a really good scoop, a really good deal like that, you have every reason to smile. You saved $40. I think that's a good reason to smile. I really do. Yes, and by the way, who was it that said this quote at lunchtime? A smile is the best makeup a girl can wear. Was that Sharon? That was from Marilyn Monroe. I looked up the quote, and I didn't know that it came from her. And I knew the quote, but I didn't know that it came from her. So I thought I'd just mention that. Smiling is definitely one of the best beauty remedies. If you have a good sense of humor and a good approach to life, that is beautiful. And I wonder if any of you are surprised that I can be smiling at this time. And let me ask you, let me see what you have learned over the months and time that I've known you. What do I need to do in order to smile every day when all this chaos is going on around me? What is it that I need to do when I wake up in the morning so that I can smile? And the reason I'm asking you is because I want to know whether it's unusual or whether quite a few of you do this. Because to my mind, when I wake up in the morning, the first thing that I do is I go, oh, I woke up. That's a good thing. That's a good start for the day. And then I will try and get out of bed. The beds in a hotel are higher than a residential bed. And it's so funny because I sort of make my way to the side and slide off the bed. And I, go to stand, and I pray that I'm not trying to stand at the same time as the train goes by. And I stand and I go, well, I can stand this morning. That's a good sign. And, I literally do all of those things. But I make myself laugh. Do any of you? Jody's saying, I'm not proud of it, but I resented a smile from a stranger in the hospital that smiled at me right after my mum passed. My attitude was, how can there be any happiness when my world has just collapsed? Oh, Jody, I think that is being human. And I would urge you to forgive yourself that. And, thank you for your honesty, and thank you for talking about it, because I think when you can talk about it, you know that there was another way, that, that person was probably trying to console you in their way. One of the things that I have learned when if I have to attend a funeral, or if I hear about people passing, or even a pet passing, because it's just as devastating, is, just to say there are no words, and realize that nothing I can say is going to make this better. But, I can verbalize that. There just are no words that I can say that's going to make that better. But, I think it's wonderful. Do any of you relate to what Jody said? Have you ever resented somebody who smiled at you because they smiled at you at the wrong time? Jody's saying, I've often thought of that person. It's been 31 years and I can still see them in my mind. What I would recommend, Jody, if you can, which is the next time you see that person in your mind, explain it to them. And ask for their forgiveness. I'm certain they'll give it. I'm certain if you can, when we do those meditations, I am certain that they will totally forgive you. And I would literally do one of those meditations and sit with them and go, 31 years ago, you smiled at me and I hated you for it. But I want to explain why. Because the chances are my face showed my contempt of you. And, just have that conversation in your mind, and you will find that it will help a great deal. And so, how many of you agree that smiling is free therapy? That if you can smile, you're going to feel better about yourself. And one thing that I learned way back in my 20s was, if you wanted to be good at something, act as if you were already good. And so therefore, if you want to be happy, act the way happy people act. And let me ask you, how do happy people act? What do you see that you go, gosh, that's a happy person? Because isn't it true that happy people, you can see them a mile away? What is it about the way that they walk? What is it about the way they stand? What is it about the way that they move? What is it about everything that tells you this is a happy person? Because if you can see that in your mind, then you can also be that in your mind. So quite often, did anybody see the little video I put up about a little child asking her daddy to join her in the water puddle? There was this big puddle of water, and this little child is saying, Daddy, Daddy, come in and join me in the water. Now, she's dressed in rain boots and a rain slicker and everything, and Daddy's wearing really good-looking runners. And you can tell that split second where he's thinking, do I want to get in there with these good runners? Not really. And then there she is going, Daddy, come join me. And he decided he decided to get into the water with her. And, you could tell he was enjoying playing in the water as much as she was. And I don't know if any of you saw it, but it made me smile. And that's why I shared it, because I'm pretty sure that all of you know that would be me. I would be in there with my good shoes and playing in the puddle. And so I look at it and go, sometimes the best way to be happy is to act like a child, not like an adult. Children get up in the morning. They don't think about being happy or sad. They play. Right? Their whole day consists of things that they do in between playing. So I would recommend that you all make an effort to play more this week. Actually, Jody, if you leave me a note, I will find the link and put it up again. Kenneth Branagh, the British actor, said, lighten up. Just enjoy life. Smile more. Laugh more. And don't get so worked up about things. I am pretty certain that you all know that I am genuinely very grateful that I survived last week and that I'm here talking to you this week. Very grateful. I am very grateful that the hotel supplied enough lighting that I could actually broadcast without getting all my lights working. I could do with a bit more, but I'm going, okay, I'm happy for that. It was said that smile, smile, smile at your mind as often as possible. How many of you laugh at yourself, right? Your smiling will considerably reduce your mind's tearing tension. How many of you can laugh at yourself when you make a mistake? I always, I always do things like, if I can go left or right and I choose right and it's wrong, I will go. But there was a 50% chance that could be right, Or, I'll try and cook something and it'll be a total disaster. And I go, well, there you go. At least you practice how not to do it. And now next time you do it, you won't be doing it that way. You'll find another way. So I look for reasons to laugh at myself. Okay, Sharon, good to see you. I think I quoted you. Sharon, the quote about a smile being the best makeup, I believe Marilyn Monroe said it. I actually looked up that quote. How about this one? I eat every 2 hours and I sleep for 8. I have lots of water. I pray to keep calm. And most importantly, I have a smile on my face. Now, I don't know about you, but when I read that, I eat every 2 hours and I sleep for 8 hours. I'm going, no, that's contradictory. You certainly don't eat every 2 hours if you sleep for 8 hours. How many of you are picky like I am? You're like, no, honey, you don't sleep. You don't eat every 2 hours. Yes, Jody's saying, I laugh at myself daily. It takes the sting out of a mistake. Absolutely. And by the way, if I'm hobbling because my arthritis is painful or whatever, and I make it all the way to the bathroom where the ibuprofen pills are living, I quite often say, well, there, look at that. You made it all the way to the ibuprofen pills. Life is good. So use your smile to change the world. Don't let the world change your smile. Now that, I think, is really so true. All right? Use your smile to change the world. And do not let the world change your smile. You remember that I said when all the fire people were so amazed at how peaceful I was watching my house burn. And I just kept saying to them, hey, listen, listen. If having a little conniption and throwing a hissy fit and crying and stomping my feet is going to make this nightmare go away, please let me know, because I'll gladly do that. But I really don't see that it's going to help at all. So why would I bother? I just want to be so grateful that you're all here helping me and that you're all doing your best. And by the way, fire people are not panicking, right? I know they're dissociated from the fire. I understand that they it's just a fire to them. It's not, they're not on a hamster wheel at all. They look at a fire as a fire, and a fire has a process, and you need to attack it in a certain way. And each fire they go to, that's what they do. And 99.9% of the time, the fire obeys their instructions and dies down, and they save houses. That must be very rewarding, right? But we also know that every now and then the fire acts the wrong way and we lose lives. And so the funniest, I don't know why, but one of the funniest memories was when they were putting the oxygen mask on me, and they're trying to explain how a one-way valve works on an oxygen mask. That when you breathe out, you're not about to then breathe in the carbon dioxide. And I just said, I actually took the mask off and I said, would that be like a sleep apnea mask? In other words, stop explaining it to me. I know how it works. I have a sleep apnea mask. And they laughed and said, just like one of those. I said, okay, then don't worry. I know what it does. And because the other thing is, they're busy, and they were. Have you noticed? I smiled a lot at those emergency people, because they really understand people very well. I loved how they explained everything they were about to do. We're about to give you oxygen, Sal, but not because you're in a bad way, just because we want to give you that extra support. You've been through, quite a traumatic thing, and your lungs appear to be absolutely fine, but we'd just like to give you some oxygen to make sure that everything is working properly. And we want to test your lungs before we give you oxygen, and then after we've done it, we'll check it again to see if there's any difference. And I'm going, okay, that makes you happy. I think I said that. If that makes you happy, go right ahead, be my guest. And they did. And when they did the test, they said, no, your lungs are working perfectly. And I said, oh, that's good to hear. I know my mouth is. And so you've got to find reasons to smile and to laugh and to be happy. The world is so full of terribly bad things. A real man smiles in trouble, gathers strength from distress, and grows brave by reflection. Wow. Sharon saying, I haven't lost my mom. I have lost a husband, brother, brother-in-law, all within 6 years. Yes. And none of them is easy, Sharon, but I think you will agree that that as each passing happens, you realize that you are learning to cope with loss so much better. It's not that you don't grieve and that you don't feel sad or whatever. It's you just learn to cope with the hamster wheel a lot better. And that's what I was trying to say today, that, don't think for a minute that I don't have moments where I'm really sad about my house or, really sad about what's happening. But, they're fleeting moments, all right? I try to give them a little bit of space because it's important to process those feelings, but they don't take up a lot of my day. I just don't give them. And how about this one? Have you ever... All right, let me just give you the quote. The quote is, you should never regret something that made you smile. And I would like to say, or somebody. that made you smile? I think back to a great lover in my life, and boy, did he make me smile a lot. He really made me laugh a lot. And quite often when I tell the story, I say, I met the love of my life on the internet, and unfortunately, so did he, and it wasn't me. But it was just like, I was in a relationship for over 2 years with this guy, and he made me laugh so much. But it was just, he knew he was really good at laughing at himself. And so therefore, I do not regret the relationship at all, although it broke my heart, as you can imagine, at the time. But I don't regret it, because I had 2 years that I would never have had if I hadn't met him. And I really am still very grateful for it. It's said that smiling is the best way to face every problem, to crush every fear, and to hide every pain. And sometimes we have to act as if we're okay, and act as if we're happy with life. Because if we can act it, then we can become it. And I've always said that the great actors, if you think about this, the great actors in the world are great actors because we actually believe their story. Right? We believe their performance. I'm pretty sure that if any of you watched, let's say, Silence of the Lambs, Anthony Hopkins' performance in Silence of the Lambs was so brilliant because, I'm going to sneeze. Excuse me. Once a wish. His performance was so brilliant because you just had to see him and you were scared, right? And you think about that. That's pretty amazing. I think about the score to Jaws. When was it Steven Spielberg that directed Jaws? I can't remember. Jody will find out for me, I'm sure. But to have the brilliance to go, every time we see the shark, we're going to play this same bit of music. Or even if we can't see the shark, but we know that the shark is in the water, we'll just play this bit of music. Now, whoever thought of that? You got to go, how inspired was that? That we can create humor and fear just by a piece of music. Now, if you don't believe that music can make you smile, how many of you can hear the theme music to E.T. and just start smiling? If you ever watched E.T. and you can hear that music, or the music to the other encounter, what was it called? The fifth encounter or something? The third and fourth, I don't know what it was, but that there's where they had that sort of dun 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 dun, and they had a rhythm that they were communicating with the other world, and it's just like whenever you hear that, you smile because it was such a great concept. And I don't know about you, but I love it when people are that talented. I love it when people are that talented. And it's interesting that when if you do a bit of research, how many of the great lines in movies, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, thank you, Jody, it's amazing how many famous lines from movies, memorable lines from movies, were never scripted. That the actor just happened to be in the moment and just said that. Jack Nicholson in The Shining, when he comes through the door with an axe and puts his face to the door and says, "Here's Johnny." That wasn't in the script. He just instinctively did it. And, it was so funny. De Niro in Taxi, There were a couple of really well-known lines that were in there. Funny enough, Schwarzenegger, "I'll be back," was not scripted. He was just so in the moment when he was reading the other lines that at the end of it, he just looked and said, "I'll be back." And the director just went, "Oh, yeah, we'll keep that." And so you think, isn't it wonderful that if we just let our minds do what is right, we can create these memorable moments. I used to, some of you have heard me tell this story, but when I was talking on stage, I quite often used to just record what I actually said. And the reason was because once I was on stage with a microphone and a big stage, a couple of thousand people in front of me, I would get into this zone where I wouldn't necessarily be keeping to what I'd planned to say. And I just let the universe tell me what to talk about. And I'd go off and I'd be talking and people would be crying with laughter. And for the longest time, I didn't know why. And so I decided I would start recording myself so I could find out why people were laughing. And, I'd listen to it afterwards and I actually would start to laugh and go, she's quite funny. And then I'd go, I wonder where I got that from, because I certainly didn't script that. So I think if we can see that we actually have this incredibly joyous part of us, if we just let it out, and let it be. And I really do recommend that you take a bit of time. And I can't remember what I decided to look for that I found them, but it was like movie moments that weren't scripted or something. And, when I read through them, I'm going, wow. And that was such an important line in the movie. And it wasn't even in the script. And you're going, that's talent. And how many of you have ever said, that smile could move mountains, but it could also break hearts? Right? Because there's a yin and a yang to everything, right? If you can, I said at lunchtime, you will know that you've reached some sort of balance in your life when you can treat the bad things with the same mentality that you treat the good things. And just know it's just life. Life comes with good and bad. And the whole point of life is to learn how to treat each equally. I keep being so grateful for this tiny little kitchen with its 2 burners. And I'm going, this sure beats not having any burners. Now I get to play. I get to find out what can I cook with just 2 burners. And, I've managed, oh, by the way, I have managed to make omelets with the microwave, beautiful omelets with the microwave. I have, I've learned how to make flatbread in a fry pan. What else have I learned? I'm just experimenting because it's fun. It makes me smile. What can I do with, I've learned how to make latte without my latte maker. Anybody want to know how to do that? Because actually I've never done it this way before, but something told me that I needed to try it. So what I did is I took the milk and I put it in the blender until it's, good and foamy. That's the first thing. And then I put the milk alone in the microwave. All right, so I've got just want you to see it really is a latte in there. So then I put the cold milk foam into the microwave, and it probably starts to boil in about 50 seconds. So you're going to be a bit careful. But then I pour the coffee into the foam. And even tonight, I just had, hot foam and cold coffee, and it just tastes great. Jody's saying, seeing the glass half full or half empty. The perspective is very much up to every one of us. And we can choose to be miserable or happy. Yep, I quite agree. I want to tell you, I could choose to be miserable every day at the moment. I really could. I could get up and be miserable because I have every reason to be if I want to see that side. But, I just choose to get up at the moment and just be grateful. Hey, I got a new wardrobe out of this. you know, I would never have spent this much money on clothes this fall if this hadn't happened. And I'm beginning to think it was a really good thing to do because it's made me very happy. You know what I mean? It was just like, yeah, maybe that's part of it. I had to learn that spending money on a new fall outfit for myself is not a bad idea. It makes me happy. By the way, I don't know how many of you relate to this, but actually buying some new bras wasn't a bad idea either. Yeah. Those sort of things where you go, seriously, I should do this more often. And how about this one? I love this quote. It says, teeth are not pearly until you smile. If people can't see your smile, if they can't see that you're happy, you don't sparkle. And I think it's really important that we share that. And also, I don't know about the rest of you, but I'm going out of my way to see the best in everybody at the moment. Whether it's the housekeeping people who are bringing me extra towels. Isabel saying, you are truly amazing. You practice what you preach. Wow. You know what makes me a little sad in that one is, what makes me a little sad is that tells me that there are an awful lot of people who don't. All right, in your experience. And that is, if you remember, because I've told you guys about this, I always said, if I ever do YouTube, when Benji wanted me, he said, you're now a YouTuber because I've set you up. And I said, I don't know what that is, honey. And he said, you'll find out. And I just said that, I said to myself that if I ever did it, I would tell the truth. I wouldn't pretend I was happy when I wasn't. And I would literally practice what I preach. And so I have no fear of telling you, I woke up 5 or 10 minutes just before the broadcast and I forgot to do my hair and put my makeup on. But it's just like, does it matter? Really? In the big scheme of things, does it matter? I don't think so. You see, I don't think you come to listen and to see how brilliantly I put on my makeup. That I could be wrong. So if I'm wrong on that, let me know. Right? Steve Maraboli, who we quote often, said, smile at a stranger and you might change somebody's life. Smile at a stranger and you just might change somebody's life. And how about that guy I was telling you about at lunchtime? How about that guest who rushed to help me? And I'm busy just stunned at his kindness and generosity. And one of the things I'm really grateful for, hang on one second. One of the things I'm really grateful for is I actually got myself one of these sort of masks. And the reason I'm grateful for it is because I can smile and people can see me smiling. I think I miss two things with the pandemic more than most people would know. As somebody who is a smiler, I miss seeing people smile. But also, I genuinely miss being able to lip read. Because, as you all know, I'm hard of hearing. And it is almost impossible to understand people if you're hard of hearing and you can't see their lips move. And that makes me really sad. So much so that when I was dealing with the guy here from the Hilton who helped me so much, I said to him, I need to email you rather than try and talk to you because it'll be much quicker for us both if you could let me have your email. And literally now when I need some help on anything, I just email him. And because it's quicker. If he's trying to talk to me through a mask and through perspex and everything else, it takes so much longer. So I just, somebody will start talking to me. I said, do me a favor, let me email you that. It'll be quicker. And I don't take it personally anymore. It's just it works better for me. And so I really miss being able to hear. But I am so grateful to be able to see. Do you understand? It's like, I as much as I miss my hearing, I am so glad that I can see things. And, it's really, was I devastated that I broke my Fitbit when in the fire? Yeah. But, did it make me smile when I just went, I need to order a new watch. I haven't done it yet, but I need to order a new watch. Now, whether it gets paid for by the insurance or not, really, do I want to spend a lot of time walking around like this? Well, probably at the moment, it doesn't worry me, but, it's going to worry me soon that it really doesn't look as elegant as I would like. And I got to be the only person that's concerned about being elegant right now. When my house caught fire, not everybody cares about being elegant. My earrings were one of the first things I bought. When I started to buy, after 36 hours, when I went to go and buy clothes, I also bought earrings and makeup. Very interesting, right? And why? Because earrings make me feel dressed. And, they're not the good ones that I had, but, something, who knows? Who cares? Joel Osteen said, encouragement to others is something that everybody can give. Somebody needs what you have to give. And it may not be your money. It may not be your time. It may be your listening ear, and it may be your arms to encourage. But it may also just be your smile to uplift. Who knows? So again, what I would ask you to be aware of is at the close of every day, ask yourself what made me smile today, or who made me smile today, and learn those lessons. You're right. That guy that rushed to help me, made me happy at a soul level that is difficult to explain. But it was a learning moment for me, which was his willingness to help me when he thought I was in trouble. It was wonderful. Now, it was, somebody made the comment, well, what a gentleman. Yes, he really was such a gentleman. And that's why I wanted to reward that good behavior, because it was just like, what a nice thing to do when he didn't have to. People don't take the time anymore, do they? Roy T. Bennett, another person we quote a lot, said, I always find opportunities to make someone smile and to offer random acts of kindness in everyday life. Jody's saying about the earrings, right? That's a mood lifter. Having those accessories and makeup. I always feel better when my makeup is on and I've got my silver hoops. Yeah. Something? I totally agree with you. Oh. Jody, could you make a note for me to remind the insurance people that when they gut my bathroom, I've got earrings down the drain, part of the drain in my bathroom. You remember all my studs fell into the... So I just want to tell them when they're pulling that apart, just to check that pipe and see if they can find any that haven't rusted. I am pretty certain that would be a nice memory, even if I can't wear them anymore. These survived the Great Fire. Be the living expression of God's kindness. Kindness in your face, kindness in your eyes, and kindness in your smile. Another Mother Teresa quote. Okay, think about that. Be the living expression of God's kindness. It doesn't cost you anything. And again, if you see somebody that looks like they could do with a smile, give it to them. And here's the other thing. If they react where they look at in anger, because how dare you be happy when they are so sad? Remember Jodi's story that they are going to end up living with that regret for 30 years. Of course, Jodi, living with that regret for 30 years, I'm certain is bringing you a lot of happiness. A mistake you made 30 years ago, you're still beating up on yourself for it. Very smart, yeah. And that's why I say that it's a really good idea to do a meditation and just apologize and get it filed away. To keep bringing that back into your mind is not fair on you. George Carlin said, everybody smiles in the same language. Isn't that cute? Everybody smiles in the same language. You can be multilingual. Yeah, actually, I can speak, 27 different languages with one smile. Think about that. Maya Angelou said, if you only have one smile in you, give it to the people you love. I must admit that my greatest grounding, if you like, and my greatest grounding is that I can talk to you guys. Yeah, Kimmy's saying she can hear the water dripping. Let me see if I can stop that. There it is, yeah. Now, I'm pretty sure that drip by drip, that wasn't going to overflow that sink, but that sink does not have an overflow. Doesn't have an overflow thing in it. So I'm a little bit hypersensitive now to that. Hang on. My life is not my own. Okay, so I think that's the people with my computer. So I'm going to need to phone them back. Hang on a second. Please forgive me for this, but my computer, as you know, is pretty important to me. Okay, so yeah, I want to tell you something, Jodi. I was saying this to Stig, Sean, the insurance guy, STIG. I was saying to him that the level of service that I have received, top to bottom, has been incredible. And not only that, what I said to him, it isn't just the level of service, it is the compassion that I have felt from everybody. And the fact that everybody seemed to pick up on my sense of humor very quickly and was smart enough to return it. You know what I mean? That they realize that my way of coping with stuff is with my humor, and that they've played off it, which has made it, that made me smile all the more. And I know it confused a lot of people to start with, but once they realized, I told you. Hello? Yes. Yes. No, I'm in the middle of a live broadcast, so could you keep my computer there? Thank you. I'll pop down after the broadcast. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Please thank them. Please thank them. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Yep, that's my computer. So what I realize is that, and think about this, if you have got friends that are having a tough time for any reason, what I don't know if you've noticed this, but people often say, hi Nyasha, people often say to me, well, I don't want to go and visit somebody in hospital because I feel terrible. And I'm going, it's not about you. All right. You need to go visit people in hospital for them, not for you. And by the way, if you go to visit somebody that is in hospital that has a sense of humor, for goodness sake, don't be scared to joke with them. One of the things I always say to people if they've just had an operation, which is I really considered whether or not I should come to visit. And they go, why, Sal? And I go, because I know it's going to hurt when you laugh. And they'll immediately start to laugh. And I go, you see, I didn't even say anything. And then I'll say, but I also know from my own experience that it's very good exercise for your muscles. So keep laughing. It's fine. Hold your stomach if you need to, but just keep laughing. All right, so Sandy's saying my grandma in Europe had a clock that chimed like that. It just took me back to my childhood visits, made me smile. And you know something? I made you smile. See, isn't that lovely? Same thing. It was the only one of the ringtones that I could hear from another room. That's why I picked it. Because you can really hear Big Ben. Yes, life is about those sort of memories, isn't it? Those special memories, as Jodi's saying, are they're so lovely and such a great surprise. Yeah, it is a nice sound. I love it. And so, to me, I've got one of my friends who has "Oh Canada," our national anthem, as their ringtone. And it's so funny because, you'll be in the days before COVID, but we'd all be together, talking about something, and suddenly "Oh Canada" would play and everybody would stand up. And then we'd realize it was somebody's ringtone. And you go, oh yeah, right. We'd all sit down again. Now, I thought, that was very funny. And it always used to make me smile. So I liked it. How about this one? Strong people are the ones who can smile for other people's happiness. Right? Now, I don't mind telling you, in the days before I got control of my mind, I used to get really upset about other people being happy. I don't mind telling you that. And it wasn't fair. How come they could be happy and I can't? I used to regret that. I used to resent that now that I think about it. Jodi's saying, when I received Nigel the Ninja, who is in intensive care at the moment. Delivery, seeing your face light up with delight made me smile. Yes, and I have already had my money's worth out of Nigel the Ninja. And part of me, that's part of what I was checking with Stig, which is, can I call for my ninja to come back? But I also know if I've got to be without it for 6 months, it's still going to be there when it's all over, right? Hopefully. How about Charlie Chaplin said, you'll find that life is still worthwhile if you just smile. Right? Regardless of what's going on in your life, regardless of how much you hurt, regardless of what's going on, there's something about smiling that just makes things better. Right? And it softens you, doesn't it? I mean, I've got to ask you then. For me, when I smile, I just feel like it's the right place to be, if you like. I feel better when I smile. I feel more connected with the world when I smile. I feel better about everything when I smile. And, I am pretty certain that, I have got this incredible experience that I've just been through. And it's another story that's going to make a lot of people smile. Well, Kimmy, I want to tell you something that train's coming. Be prepared for the shake. Here we go. What I would like to say, Kimmy, is you actually don't need to get a Fitbit today. When I say that, I don't mean any disrespect to Fitbit, but, there are so many good watches today that are $50 as opposed to $200, that will give you the same information that a Fitbit will.